So in the last video we were able to successfully create our product component, and now in this video we would like to create the product screen component. So when we are when we click on any kind of product, then on this particular route we want a product screen. So for that, but before that, what I want to do, I want to go into the nav bar and change this anchor tag with LWC link and href2 slash. So now whenever we click on this home, it will redirect us to this particular route, localhost slash. And just for now, what I'm gonna do, I want it to be SLDS is active. So yep, it's active now. And another thing, as you can see that here's the spinner, it's hard coded right now, so we have to implement that spinner too. So for that, what we have to do, we have to go to the SLDS lighting design system to get the spinner. So in a new tab, I'm gonna say SLDS spinner, and here it is, the spinner which we want. We'll copy this and SLDS spinner brand. Where's this brand? Okay, we're gonna copy that, and not in here, in the home component, instead of this spinner hard coded, we want this spinner position, and for it to render on the whole screen, we have to make this position absolute, and also we have to wrap this around a div, all the things. And in this div, I want to style and say position relative. So now when we reload the page, the spinner is here on the left hand side. So for aligning it to the center, we're going to say SLDS text align center. It's still not perfect. Okay, let me just fix it. So just pause the video, and I'm just gonna copy and paste that. Copy this particular line. Just pause the video and you can. And after that, we have to do on this line too. Again, I'm gonna remove that and put this. So SLDS spinner container, SLDS spinner brand, SLDS spinner large is relative, roll alert. So now our spinner is ready. You can pause the video and copy it down, and I guess now it will work fine. Yep, you can see the spinner in the middle of the screen. So we are done with this spinner, and we will use this spinner wherever we will want, or we can create in future. We will create a component of spinner in this particular utils, and we can use that. Or we would, why would we not create right now? So it will be spinner, and we spinner.html, and just cut and paste. Sorry, before that we have to use template, paste, and in here what we can do, we can say utils slash spinner. So now it's a reusable component. Now, okay, what we have to do, we have to create the spinner.js2, and we have to do this stuff, change it to spinner, remove the API, and I guess now it should work fine. If we refresh, nope, still not working. So okay, so it was working properly fine. We just have to stop the server and start it again. I did that. npm run, or maybe it's already running right now. If I refresh, nope, it's gone. So we're gonna say npm run watch, and if I go to this localhost 3001 and refresh it, yep, now it's working fine. You can see the spinner before. You can see all of the products. So that's we have created a reusable component for spinner 2, and now what we have to do, we have to create the product screen, and for its product screen we have to define the routes. So in the app.html, what I'm gonna say LWC route, and we are gonna render this my home component only when the path is slash, and it should be exact. And what we wanna do, we want another route for path should be slash products slash colon product ID. So we can pass the parameter using this colon. So we will pass the product ID, and whenever this path, this link is hit, then we want to render the product screen component, which we are going to build soon. Product screen. So let me just quickly create that product screen in my new folder, PRO screen. Inside that new file, PRO screen.js. Just copy the first two lines, paste it in here, change the name, product screen, and also the HTML file, PRO product screen HTML template product screen. So we'll be sure that it's running properly, and in app.html, instead of this we will say my slash PRO product screen. So now, and in the nav bar, no, not in the nav bar, so let me just quickly check it out, refresh the page. Okay, loader is working fine. When we click on this particular route, yep, the route is changed and we can see the product screen. It means we are getting our product rendered properly, and we can start working on this product screen component. So first we have to remove that, and now we can get it started. So similarly, template, if true is loading, then we want to show the loader. So I'm gonna say utils slash spinner, and if the loading is complete, loading equals to false. And also we have if product, means if there is something in the product, it's not undefined or null, then what we want to do, we want to render in the product, we can say like product. We don't need API because we will fetch the ID from the parameter, from the URL link. From here we will fetch this, and in the product I'm gonna say class of SLDS grid, SLDS wrap, and first column will be for the image, and that size should be 1 out of 1, means for the small screen, but for the medium and large screen we want 5 out of 12. So SLDS medium size 5 out of 12, and similarly for the large screen. In here there will be an image, and image will get the same. I'm gonna copy it down for the product price and those. but for that we have to 1 out of 1, but for the medium we want this div to be 3 out of 12, and the last one would be 4 out of 12 for the price and quantity. So in this we want like product dot name and product description too. So for name, this div is for name, and now this div is for description. We'll say SLDS text align center and SLDS text heading medium. Same goes for this description, or we can say small for description. And in the third column we will use a little bit of custom styling for creating a box type div. Let's just check how it really look like right now. So 3000. Okay, so it doesn't look good, means there's some kind of problem. So the problem, maybe it is loading. I'm setting it to true, so this template will get rendered, and also nothing will be rendered. Why? Okay, it's gonna keep on loading, and if I set it to false, nothing's gonna render. Why? The reason is because we are checking this if the product is true, and we haven't defined anything to the product. So let me just quickly get this ID, and on behalf of that ID we are gonna query the database and get the product. So for that we have to go to the backend in the routes and product routes, and we have to create another route called const get product by ID, and it will also be async, and request response arrow clg get product by ID, and we'll say product is equals to await product dot get dot find by ID, and we will pass the ID in here, which we will get from the request. We are gonna say const, or maybe no, we can directly use that curly bracket ID request dot params dot product ID. So we are gonna pass this product ID in the params for the request, and we are gonna fetch the product, and if we get the product, then we are gonna return that response.json response.status, I would say 200.json, and we are gonna return the product. Also I'm gonna console the ID, so we know that we are getting the ID back in our backend. And we can also say we have to define routes, so copy and paste. For this there will be an ID or parameter, so we can say product ID and get product by ID, copy and paste it around here. So whenever a slash is hit, we will get all the products, but when we'll pass the product ID, then this function will be called, and we will get this product ID using this request.params, and on behalf of the product ID we will find the product and return it. Just keep that in mind, this name and this should be exactly same. So we are done with the backend. Now again in the front end side on the product screen, what we have to do, first we have to get this ID from the URL. And how we can use that, how we can get that, we can get that using a library which we'll use, and that will be that we have already installed. So LWC from at LWC router, and in here we can say route params. Yep, we also need to use the wire so we can get the route params, and just in here we are gonna say wire route param add wire route params, and we're gonna give it name like params. So all of the parameters, we'll get all of the parameters in here, and we can easily get that, like product cost. No, what am I doing? Okay, connected callback, and what we have to do in connected callback, we have to fetch the product using the ID from this params. So for that I'm gonna sync async get product by ID, a method, and I'm gonna await, and we're gonna say fetch https localhost 3002 slash API slash products, and we're gonna pass the product ID. So slash, we have to change this single quotes to tilde, maybe, I don't know, and we're gonna say this dot params dot product ID. So, and we are also gonna say question mark, so if the params are there, then we're gonna get the product ID dot then response, we have to dot, dot parse the response, and then JSON res will be converted into this dot products equals to JSON res. What am I doing wrong in here? And also we're gonna catch any kind of errors, so if there are any kind of error, then just console.log for now error by json.stringify the error, so it's readable. So error, and what we have to do whenever this is called, we're gonna say is loading equals to true, and when we are done with the fetching, then we want to set it to false too. False, and we have to call this in our connected callback function. So now I guess that it should work properly. What's the problem? Route parameter is not a known adapter. Okay, so we can fix that by at LWC at LWC no unknown wire adapters. As I told you, these are the, we can fix that in here. We can say at LWC slash LWC slash no unknown wire adapters slash off. LWC no unknown k unknown wire adapters ADAPTERS. Okay, so now that's gone. Actually, these are the best practices which are already in force, so we can ignore them by making them off. We are gonna do it for most of the, for many of the things in future. So now when we go to our app and when we refresh and when we click on any kind of product, it is still not showing up the product. Now we have to fix that. So again, we did a few mistakes, and the number one mistake was it was HTTPS, but it should be HTTP. And the second is we don't have to use json.parse. Instead we have to say json res.json. So now I guess it should work properly, and when we refresh and when we click on any product, yep, the product, we are able to get the product by ID. We just have to do some kind of styling and the other stuff, and I guess we can do that in the next video. because this video is quite too long. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.